Hi, my name is Brittany, and this is the longer version of my testimony, just of where God's brought me from and where He's bringing me to. There is a shorter version on my YouTube channel. If you're interested in watching that, I would encourage you to go there if you'd like to, to watch that. And so, I grew up in a Christian home. It was typical Christian, home. I was taught, about God and about Jesus and what He had done for us, and about praying and reading my Bible and just typical Christian values. And I was homeschooled, and then I started going to a Christian school and was continuing to be fed all of that. So I had a really good foundation, just of information of what that meant and what that looked like. And so, but I really struggled what that meant to live that out. And so when I was 11, I officially, decided to give my heart to Christ. I had actually, given my heart to Christ and been baptized prior to that, but I really didn't feel like I was a Christian. I didn't feel like, I was going to heaven. And so when I was 11, I started really panicking about what happened to us after we died. I had been taught, there's a heaven and a hell, and you're going to spend forever there. And I started panicking. I literally started having panic attacks because, I questioned, what is forever? How long is forever? Like, what does that mean? And my mom had one of her strong Christian friends, come and talk to me through that and explain, at least a little bit in, 11-year-old's terms what forever was and what heaven is and all of that. So, a little bit more understanding of that. So that night, I remember just laying in my bed and just praying and praying and praying for hours on end, and it felt like forever. And just praying and pouring my heart out and asking God, to forgive me of my sins and to to save me. I wanted to go to heaven. If I'm going to spend forever somewhere, I really wanted to spend it in heaven. And so I remember waking up the next day and just feeling this overwhelming sense of just joy and peace and love and comfort and just all of these incredible feelings. And I just knew at that point, I was God's daughter, and, I was saved. And that was my first real encounter with God. And that was the first time I really felt like I was a Christian. And so I, I started going to high school. I went to a public high school and just really struggled with a feeling of not feeling worthy of anything and not being cool. And, I was always average. I was average at everything I did, with school and sports, and I was just average. And I just didn't want to be average anymore. I wanted to be cool. So, especially later in my high school experience, I started really getting into drinking and just partying and all of that. And, that actually was really a gateway to, later on, I just really struggled with all of that. And, but my senior year of high school, I started dating this kid, and he, was the senior goalie for soccer, and he was, cool, and he was in. And so I felt like, dating him was really going to do something for my social status. And I liked him, and, he was cute and everything. So I just decided, that was a good idea. So I started dating him, and just really, it just wasn't what I expected it to be. And, by the grace of God, I didn't, sleep with him, but just made bad choices in that relationship, and luckily got out of that before, too long, and just decided from then on, I had not dated prior to that, and I really haven't dated since then, because I just feel like, dating is, you're dating to possibly marry this person, and if you're just dating just to date around and just dating because this person's cool, then it wasn't worth it, and it definitely did not become worth it at any point, for me. So um, just really, but there was people that guys that I talked to along the way, even since then, that, I was hoping I could find some sort of worth or just some sort of, just something. I just wanted to feel something, and I just, dove into some of those, relationships that I would never see that were dating, because I had this view of dating, and so I would never date. And so I still, was drinking a lot, and it really became an issue my freshman year of college, I was not living at home, and all of a sudden I had all this independence, and I was cool because I was playing on a soccer team, and it was a very small school. It was only a few hundred people, and we had a soccer team that was actually winning games, and it was the only sport on campus where we had a winning record, and we were the cool kids on campus, and so I was drinking a lot because I felt like I was cool, and people wanted me. People called me up and tell me where there's parties, and I just felt like I was cool, and I found my worth, in that, and I felt like, this is who I am, and I defined myself by that, and so I just really, my freshman year of college was pretty much a drunken haze, and my grades suffered for it. Pretty much all that I did was play soccer and drink, and my grades suffered for it. And so at the end of my freshman year of college, I was at a party and I got a call from my best friend. She was in the town over, and she called me and said, oh, there's this big party going on, and you gotta come. And it's really happened. It's really awesome. You gotta get here. So I decided, yeah, okay, I'll go and go to this party. And I'd already had a couple to drink, so driving was probably not a good life choice. But people wanted me, somewhere, so I was gonna go, and decided to drive. And it was about 20 minutes away, so I drove there, and I was almost there. I wasn't quite sure where it was, but I was almost there from what I thought. And I got a call from people at the party saying, okay, it got busted. There's cops all over. Like, watch out. Everyone's just bailed. Like, so. And so I get close to where it is, and and I that's where I was, and I look behind me, and there was a state trooper watching me, and because I wasn't quite sure where it was, and and I'm sure being around where that party was, there was already cops there, and I'm not the best of drivers anyway, and I was under the influence, so I'm sure I wasn't driving that great, and so he spotted me, and I have never been so scared in my life. I never had been so scared ever. I watched him, and sure enough, he was watching me. So I pulled over on the side of the road, and he was kitty cornered to me. He was watching me from the other road, and he pulled over as soon as I pulled over, and was just watching me. And so I prayed and prayed like I had never prayed before, and just begged the Lord, if you save me from this, I promise I'm going to do things different. I'm going to change it, my life. I'm going to go to church. I'm going to, read your word. I'm going to do things different. I promise, and just begged and pleaded, because I definitely would have gotten in trouble, certainly would have gotten a DUI, if not a DWI. And so, for some reason, unbeknownst to me, it was completely God, because there's no reason he should let me go. He just drove right by me. He just decided to go. And I sat there and kept praying, and then prayed my entire way home. And I didn't go back to the other party. I was tempted to, because on the way home, I was like, oh, I'll just go to this other party. Decided that probably wasn't the best choice. So I just went home and laid in my bed. I read the Bible for the first time in a really long time, and just prayed, and was just begging Lord to just forgive me, and decided that if I came back, this next year, because it was at the end of the semester, if I came back for the next year, that I was definitely going to come back right into this lifestyle, and that wasn't what I wanted to do. So finished that semester. I went away for the summer. I was a camp counselor, so I really didn't get into the partying lifestyle, obviously, there, because I was in charge of all of these kids, and definitely didn't, wasn't into that there. So I came home and decided not to go back to Wells. So I I moved home, and I was going to change things up. I was going to do things different, and so I started to, and it was really good for a while. Um, but, I had a couple of really close people uh, die. My grandpa died, and then not long after that, one of my best friends died. And so just really was sad, and just felt, alone. I was back home. My friends were at college, and, I wasn't where I wanted to be. I had based my worth on where I was going to school and what I was doing, and that was what defined me also up to that point. And all of a sudden I'm home. I'm right back to where all these people were who hadn't gone to college and who hadn't done anything, and I was back home and I felt not worth anything, and so I really struggled with that and just started getting back into drinking really bad and partying and just jumped right back into that. And over that winter, I got in a couple of really bad car accidents. I live in upstate New York, so we have some pretty bad winters at times, and I really struggled with anger. All through my life, I struggled with anger. I grew up in a very, very angry household, and so I knew, you know, that I was very angry all the time, and so I was talking on the phone with my mom one time. I was driving, and I had my 8-year-old sister in the car with me, and my mom wanted me to do something, and I didn't know what she wanted me to do. I was confused, and so I was angry. I was driving faster than I should have. The roads were slick, it had rained and then frozen, so they were slick, and there was a little hairpin turn. I wasn't where I knew I didn't know the area, so and so I didn't realize that it was coming up, and so there was a little hairpin turn, and I was going way too fast before I realized it. And I threw the phone, and I stomped on my brakes and tried turning, and it didn't work. And me and my sister just slid. We just slid right across the road, and we hit a road sign, and then hit a phone pole, and we're just teetering over this hill, hanging by the wire from the phone line. It was really bad. So we're literally tipping. We're looking down this hill. This is huge hill, and there's a golf course down at the bottom. So there's a little stream, but there was these huge rocks because they didn't want the golf carts, to go over into that stream. So there was these huge rocks. I mean, they looked like boulders, and we were aiming for them. If we had not had that wire there, we would have just rolled down the hill and hit these huge rocks, and no doubt in my mind, we would have died. Like, no doubt in my mind. Um, and I just remember, my sister panicking and, crying, and I just felt so guilty and, you know, just felt like I could have died, and I could have taken my sister, with me. And, is what I've lived my life thus far, is that what I want to, have lived? No, and am I sure I'm going to go to heaven at this point? No. And, just had all these questions, and I just felt so guilty for putting our lives at stake like that, and just realized more and more that tomorrow's not promised. And one of my other friends, he died in a car accident, and then I got another car accident um, where there was just this big pileup of cars. It was a whiteout. You couldn't see anything, but you couldn't stop, you couldn't keep going, and it was just a huge pileup. And there was this tractor trailer behind me that almost hit me, and luckily, escaped that one. But I just kept realizing more and more that tomorrow's not guaranteed. And because I used to say, oh, when I get older and I'm married and I have kids and I want to teach them how to be a Christian, then I'll become a Christian again. That's when, I'll become a Christian again. And that was so flawed, and I just had a wrong view of God. And so, just continued a little bit, to live that party lifestyle. And, it's just hard to get out of it because that's all my friends, that was what they were doing. Like literally all of my friends, I need to get new friends. So, but literally all my friends, that's what they were doing. And I remember that spring, I really came to the end of myself, just really being like, okay, this is it. This is done. I'm done with this. And uh, I was just talking to this guy at the time, and there was a party at his house. So I went there, and I was drinking out of a bottle because there was a lot of people that I didn't know, and there's some sketch people, and so just in case, just drinking out of a bottle. And there were a couple of people that were in his garage. The garage door was open. It was late at night, and they're smoking pot right out in, out in the open. So as the girl who is talking to the guy whose house it was, and I don't know where he is, I felt responsible to go talk to that, close the garage door and, settle things with that. So, put my beer down and went and, took care of that so we didn't get in any more trouble than we would have, and came back. I drank my beer, and a few minutes later, just started feeling really, really weird. And I had never really gotten into drugs. I had never gotten into drugs at all at that point. So I didn't know what it was like, to trip on anything, but somebody had spiked my drink, and I, I was looking around. I was panicking. I didn't know what was going on, and you know, I let it go for a couple more minutes and just realized, no, I'm definitely tripping on something, and went and talked to the guy that I was talking to and said, somebody spiked my drink, and he's like, oh, just go lay down, just sleep it off or whatever, it's fine, and just realized I wasn't where I wanted to be, and especially not under that influence, and so once again, found myself driving under the influence, and this town that we were in was really notorious for having really stringent cops. They were like, they would get you if you were going 2 miles per hour over the speed limit. They would get you and they would ticket you, and they were so strict. And so I was so nervous. I had had a couple to drink and I was tripping on something. I didn't know what. And so I drove home. It was about 15 minutes away, and just remember